Throughout history, certain individuals have committed acts so horrifying that their names are forever associated with evil. From brutal dictators to merciless warlords, these figures left behind a trail of destruction, suffering, and death. Their actions have shaped the course of history in the most devastating ways. In this countdown, we reveal the top 10 most evil people to ever live. Prepare yourself as we delve into the darkest chapters of human history. At number 10 we have Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind some of the deadliest terrorist attacks in modern history. Born in 1957 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, bin Laden was the 17th of 52 children in a wealthy family. He became radicalized in his youth, influenced by the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979. As the leader of Al-Qaeda, he orchestrated the September 11, 2001 attacks, causing unprecedented destruction and loss of life. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost, changing the world forever. Coming in at number 9 is Idi Amin, the ruthless dictator of Uganda from 1971 to 1979. Known as the Butcher of Uganda, Amin's brutal regime was marked by widespread human rights abuses. He executed up to 500,000 people through ethnic persecution, torture, and political assassinations. His erratic leadership plunged Uganda into economic collapse and despair. After being overthrown in 1979, Amin went into exile, eventually settling in Saudi Arabia. At number 8 we have Ivan the Terrible, Russia's first Tsar. His name alone reflects his brutal rule. He ordered the slaughter of entire cities, including the infamous massacre of Novgorod, where thousands were tortured and executed. Even his own son wasn't spared from his wrath. He murdered him in a fit of rage. Ivan expanded Russia's territory through ruthless military campaigns, laying siege to Kazan and Astrakhan. His reign was marked by paranoia and the establishment of the Oprichnina, a secret police force that terrorized the nobility. At number 7 we have the real-life inspiration for Dracula, Vlad the Impaler. As the ruler of Wallachia in the 15th century, he impaled tens of thousands of his enemies, often leaving them to rot along roads as a warning. Some estimates suggest he was responsible for over 80,000 deaths through brutal torture and executions. His methods were so gruesome that they struck fear into the hearts of his enemies and subjects alike. Vlad's legacy of terror has left an indelible mark on history, making him one of the most notorious figures of his time. Number 6 is Pol Pot, the leader of the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. Born as Saloth Sar in 1925, Pol Pot became the face of one of the most brutal regimes in modern history. His regime, from 1975 to 1979, aimed to create a communist utopia. Instead, he caused one of the worst genocides in history, leading to the deaths of up to 2 million people, a quarter of Cambodia's population, through starvation, forced labor, and executions. At number 5, King Leopold II of Belgium ruled over the Congo Free State as his personal colony. His greed led to the deaths of 10 to 15 million Africans through forced labor, starvation, and brutal punishment. Workers who failed to meet rubber quotas had their hands cut off, a symbol of his cruelty. Leopold II's agents enforced his brutal policies, destroying villages and exploiting resources to fund his lavish lifestyle. International outrage eventually led to the Congo Reform Movement, and Leopold II was publicly denounced for his atrocities. At number 4 we have Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire. His conquest wiped out entire civilizations, killing an estimated 40 million people across Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. Some historians believe he wiped out 10% of the world's population, making him one of the deadliest warlords in history. His military strategies and brutal tactics reshaped the world, leaving a legacy of fear and devastation. At number 3 is Mao Zedong, the communist leader of China. His policies, including the Great Leap Forward and Cultural Revolution, led to famine, mass executions, and persecution, killing an estimated 45 million people. The Great Leap Forward aimed to rapidly industrialize China, but resulted in one of the deadliest famines in history. The Cultural Revolution sought to enforce communism by removing capitalist elements, leading to widespread chaos and violence. His reign of terror left scars that China is still recovering from today. At number 2 is Joseph Stalin, the dictator of the Soviet Union. His rule was marked by mass executions, political purges, and forced labor camps known as the gulags. Stalin's policies led to the deaths of 20 to 40 million people, making him one of history's most brutal tyrants. The gulags were notorious for their inhumane conditions, where prisoners faced extreme labor, starvation, and brutal treatment. Stalin's secret police enforced his policies through fear and violence, ensuring total control over the Soviet population. His cult of personality portrayed him as an infallible leader, further consolidating his power and suppressing dissent. And at number 1, we have Adolf Hitler, the man responsible for World War II and the Holocaust. As the leader of Nazi Germany, his racist ideology led to the deaths of over 60 million people, including 6 million Jews in concentration camps. His actions left the world in ruins and changed history forever. Hitler's rise to power began in 1933 when he became Chancellor of Germany. He quickly established a totalitarian regime, enacting the Nuremberg laws and spreading anti-Semitic propaganda. Events like Kristallnacht marked the beginning of the violent persecution of Jews. The Holocaust remains one of the darkest chapters in human history. These individuals left a legacy of terror, destruction, and suffering. Their actions serve as a reminder of what humanity must never allow to happen again. Reflecting on their impact, we must strive to build a world where such atrocities are never repeated, honoring the memory of those who suffered. Remember history? Learn from the past? Understanding history helps us shape a better future? Subscribe, like, and share for more historical insights. Don't forget to comment below.